all your expectations, all your ideas, all your everything that you have right now in your head that gives you any signal of who you should be after you truly awaken. And I say truly awaken, I mean truly awaken is the full surrender. It's the full enchilada. It's the awakening you don't unawaken from. It's not the, oh, one day I had this awakening and now I'm not awakened, but I still kind of have this little awakening and it's kind of like this shadow of awakening. No, full awakening is where you don't go back to sleep. It's unconditional. It's unconditional happiness. You can't unsee it. It's never unseen. This awakening is not something that you can have expectations of who someone should be. And I say this video because it's so liberating to think that you can be exactly whoever the fuck you are. Because the minute that your resistance is removed, the minute your judgment is removed from yourself and from others, the minute the shame that you have for being who you are as a character in this world is going to be removed. So you're going to say things and do things unapologetically that is all coming from love. I'm not saying that you're just going to be an asshole, right? You're not just going to do things that are unjust and unloving. On the contrary, the expression of your love won't hold back. So it may take a form that you are completely surprised by. For example, my situation was that what happened with me was I was always a very loud character. I was the class clown, I was the fool, I was the jester, and I would always be causing some form of trouble. And in awakening, I had egoic shyism, and what I did was I belittled that side of myself, this natural expression of just being loud, just sharing, expressing, laughing, making jokes. You could see that on some ways as like almost and contrary to that, I was also very shy. It was when I stopped getting shy that I started to express that way. I remember I was 6 years old and I was laying against the wall every lunchtime, and I would just watch everyone play, and I wouldn't want to do anything. And one day this guy, who I still remember, his name was Alex, he was the year above me, and he came over to me one day and just asked me if I wanted to play with him. And he was an older guy, and I just got some confidence through that, and I just stopped being shy. Literally as easy as that. He just asked me to come play with him and his friends one day, and it was from then that I made all my friends in school. And I just stopped being shy, and I realized that there's no need to be shy, and I just started to love life from that moment. And then in my spiritual search, I started to become shy again. I started to dim myself. I started to think, well, I was egoic before. I was being an ego. I was an ego, and I shouldn't be that way. I should be more like the Buddha. I should be more relaxed. I should be quieter. I shouldn't swear. I should do all of these things to put myself in a position of egoic shyism. So when you do fully realize this, you're not going to be holding back anymore. So you're going to express as the character that you naturally are. Now, I'm both a mixture now of kind of chill and also expressive. I don't hold back on what I want to say, and I don't hold back on what I want to do. I just do it. If there's something I want to do, I do the thing. I'll probably edit some of these swear words out because I'm swearing quite a lot right now. So there's some wisdom in what I allow. There is some principle. It's like, do you wear your slippers to the ball? This is the question I always had in my head. Do you wear your slippers to the ball? In other words, do you share or do what you want? Well, no, there's a degree of appropriation. You should be appropriate. Just because I'm expressive and I swear doesn't mean at a family dinner with my girlfriend I'm going to be like blatantly, upfrontly swearing at the dinner table, right? But on my own YouTube video, I guess, again, maybe I would, filter some things out for the sake of understanding and for the sake of resonance, like swear words. I know some people do get offended, so I'm not going to cut out every swear word, for example, but there is still a wisdom in having control and understanding and learning as you go. I spoke to my teacher one time, and he completely snapped me out of this stupor. And I kind of thought I had come to this supreme realization where I didn't have to, it was like, oh, I was vegan and now I'm not vegan, and You'll see it on the video. I'm going to show it right now.
My question is now, it's almost at the point of recognizing that it doesn't seem that there is a should or shouldn't to do anymore, because the desire, all desires ever were the universal desires to take you to the point of celebration. Then from that point of view, it's like the reconditioning of, oh wait, so I was vegan, I'm not vegan. So if I have the desire to eat fish, for example, that desire is coming from the new present, this is what's happening. There's no should or shouldn't eating the fish, or should or shouldn't use milk instead of soya milk, because in the past I said, because I shouldn't eat or drink dairy from animals, because that's a perspective that I find is wrong. The new conditioning says, well, there is no wrong or right way to live apart from what appears to arise in the present moment. So I'm at this point where I'm making a cup of tea, for example, and there's no soya milk, so I go and grab regular milk. And it's these types of things. It's almost like it's almost like feeling like I'm kind of free falling now. This is a new world. This is a world that doesn't rely on my past conditioning. It relies on whatever I feel like doing now.
Okay.
And I'd just like to know, was that ever your experience, or what were you going through in that phase, or if that was a phase for you? I don't know if it's a universal thing, but yeah, I'd just like to know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I was never part of any tradition or organization that imposed strong shoulds and shouldn'ts on me, but I'm well aware of what you're speaking of. But when you have a choice to make, Kieran, the choice is informed by an underlying attitude. So you're still going to have to make choices in your life, and you're still going to have to make choices based on some underlying attitude. Now, what is important is that your choices are based on this understanding that we speak of here. So this understanding informs your choices. So nobody is imposing shoulds and shouldn'ts on you from the outside. But this doesn't mean to say that there's no guiding principle in your life. There is still a guiding principle in your life, but that has now been internalized. It is your own understanding, it is your own love and understanding that becomes the new guiding principle in your life. And that may not always say to you, just do whatever you want. It may dictate that you behave in a certain way, but it won't be imposed on you from the outside. Your behavior will then be an expression of your love and understanding.
It sounds...
Rather than just thinking, okay, anything goes now, I can just do whatever I want because it's just a spontaneous response in the moment. Just ask yourself, whenever you have to make a choice, do your best to make a choice that is consistent with your deepest love and understanding. Internal discipline, it's not an external discipline. Yeah. In fact, the only reason that external disciplines are required is for those of us in whom love and understanding is not yet active. So for those of us, we need strict guidelines. Those guidelines become less and less necessary once one is thinking and acting from a place of love and understanding.
I kind of thought that I'd come to this freedom that was false. I thought that I had this intuitive, spontaneous guiding system that was just life running through me, and I just do what it says because life is so spontaneous and loving. It's just going to tell me all the best things to do. No. It makes me laugh to think about that. So as you can see in this video, it's not about just being this spontaneous bubble of joy and doing whatever comes into your head. It's about really having wisdom. What Rupert was teaching me there was just genuine wisdom, having wisdom over the things I do. And it isn't always going to look like just doing whatever comes into my mind. And likewise, it's not just so awakening is not just about this spontaneous, random little fluttering fart of the universe that just spontaneously, serendipitously does things. There is a level of wisdom that you have to understand. You are the governing factor of your experience. There has to be a point where you make charge of that. That's wisdom. That's true autonomy over your experience. You're not this fluttering pixie dust that just flutters into existence and does whatever it wants. And it's not like that. There is a degree of having that governing factor that actually dictates what you do. You might not always do the most loving thing. You do realize that, right? On a relative level, you might not always do the most loving thing. There's still going to be parts of you that are imperfect. As a body and mind, you're not going to be perfect, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be unconditionally happy. And the wisdom is not to let that unconditional happiness and joy be aloof, make you aloof to your experience, make you lack compassion, care, and understanding for others on the relative level. Your humanity has to be your priority, not your non-duality. You see? Non-duality is just this other concept. What we're actually doing here is pissing, shitting, farting, and fucking. You see? Unless you're a monk in one of the temples who doesn't eat, then you're not even pissing and shitting or farting at that stage. But you know what I'm trying to say? So at this stage, it's necessary to make concessions. Back again. We make concessions to get to the truth, then we make concessions as we're living in the truth. Why? Why do we do that? Because it's love. Because it's compassion. Because we're not we're on the relative level, we're not the only ones as a body and a mind experiencing unconditional happiness. So why would we just flutter around with carelessness for anybody else? And that's important. And that's where real joy is found, in friendships. You see what I mean? We can have both. This is what the purpose of this is about. You see? We're not just here to just be oneness. It's just not. It doesn't make sense. It's a preliminary, temporary step on the infinite path of existence, or the infinite path of life. I hope you found value in this, and this is something that I think is extremely important to know. Everything is a concession. By nature of me talking to a camera is a concession. Do I believe I'm really ultimately talking to someone who's a separate consciousness from me? Absolutely not. There's only one being. But that doesn't mean that on this level, which is a necessary level, it's included in the entirety, that it's actually happening, and that that it shouldn't be judged, and it should be loved. Because guess what? We're having that experience too. Hope you found value in this, guys. Take care.